Hello, everybody. Editor Adam here, chiming in from the future because I forgot to make a huge point in the video that this was supposed to be about. Starting this month, yesterday, as time of filming, November 1st, I am joining in on the Read What You Own challenge to try to downsize on some of this TBR I got going on. Um, I don't know if this was the person who started it, I believe it was, but he goes by another bibliophile reads. Um, the goals that I've set myself in this challenge, I don't have like a book number. I decided to go for a page count. I'm going for 12,500 pages of reading before I can buy books. Any new books? I have a couple little tiny rules here. I'm part of a book club at my local bookstore that goes over philosophy, so if I need to pick up a philosophy book for that, I will allow myself to do that. Only specifically things for the book club. Um, I do have an Audible subscription that gives me 2 credits a month. I'm gonna keep that going, and I'll use those as I see fit. That'll be fine. I'm going to be trying to avoid the bookstores entirely, except for when I'm inside of the book club every 2 weeks. Um, if I see a pretty book, I'm inclined to buy it. I will want to do so. I'm going to be trying to avoid the bookstores, but while I'm in there, there are a couple collections that I'm looking at that I have going on here. I've been trying to collect for years and years and years. For instance, you saw in one of the last videos, the TBR video for last month, I picked up the very last series of unfortunate events book. Um, I'm still missing one of those. If I can find it, I will get it. Little tiny things in between like that. Those are the rules. Read what you own. Have fun. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to go over the November 2025 TBR. I'm started into this already. We're starting with Kings of the Wyld. There we go. Kings of the Wyld by Nicholas Eames. I am 367 pages into this already. I think everybody on BookTube should know what this is at this point, in the fantasy realm at least. Clay Cooper and his band were once the best of the best, the most feared and renowned crew of mercenaries this side of the Heartwyld. Their glory days long past, the mercs have grown apart and old, fat, drunk, or a combination of the three. Then an ex-bandmate turns up at Clay's door with a plea for help, the kind of mission that only the very brave or the very stupid would sign up for. It's time to get the band back together. What is the Goodreads score on this? It's way higher than it should be. It's got like a 4.2 or something on Goodreads, so everyone loves it. You'll see a lot of reviews of people saying it's awesome. I'm not super stoked about it. I'm finding it very freshman, very pedestrian, very milquetoast. I think my notes have the word milquetoast in it about 5 or 6 times at this point. It encompasses a lot of rock and roll and like gig stuff like that, which I should love. I played a lot of shows with bands back in my previous life. I don't find much of it landing very well. I'll save that for our weekly reading recap here on Monday. So yeah, that's going on. I'm trying to kind of burn through it and see where we go from there. We're not going necessarily in reading order here, but 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I somehow haven't read this yet, of all of the Stephen King books. I waited until November to read it because it doesn't only take place in November, but it's got 11/22/63 in the title, so hey. The key moments are in November, so I'm sticking it in here, and I'm gonna see if I can I'm gonna try to see if I can match up dates towards the end. I'm not sure how this plays out exactly. It begins with Jake Epping, a a 35-year-old English teacher in Lisbon Falls, Maine, whose life is upended when his friend Al, who owns the local diner, divulges a secret. His storeroom is a portal to the past, a particular day in 1958. And the dying Al enlists Jake to take over the mission that has become his obsession, to prevent the Kennedy assassination. So begins Jake's life as George Amberson, in the world of Ike and JFK and Elvis, of big American cars and sock hops and cigarette smoke everywhere, and to the small town of Jody, Texas, where Jake falls dangerously in love. Every turn leads eventually to a troubled loner named Lee Harvey Oswald, and to Dallas, where the past becomes heart-stoppingly suspenseful, and where history might not be history anymore. Time travel has never been so believable or so terrifying. This book is recognized as one of the better, if not one of the best Stephen King books that has been put out in about the last 25 years. And you'll see a lot of Stephen King readers here on YouTube who would say that this is one of, if not their number one favorite Stephen King book ever. I've had this one for a sad amount of time without reading it. It's long. It's about 800 pages. I kind of expect this is probably gonna be like book of the year, so it'll be an easy contender. Alright, this month I'm going to be continuing my journey with the Book of the New Sun. I am on to Board of the Lictor, Book 3. I'm very excited for this one because a lot of people say that Book 3 is their favorite. So I'm super stoked to get to this. Sword of the Lictor is the third volume in Wolfe's remarkable epic, chronicling the odyssey of the wandering pilgrim named Severian, driven to a powerful and unfathomable destiny as he carries out a dark mission far from his home. This is very, let's just say, confusing. It's extremely dense. If you're kind of surface reading it like I am, you'll probably need to read it 4 or 5 times before you actually really get everything. Every page is like a revelation. It's like you might read a sentence and then you'll flip the page and then you'll read a paragraph that kind of upends and changes your entire perspective on like the last 2 books that you just read. It's extraordinarily interesting. Everything's just really good about this. Everything's super good about Book of the New Sun. These are excellent. We have Kurt Vonnegut, The Sirens of Titan. This is essentially one of the only straightforward science fiction books that Kurt Vonnegut ever wrote. Oh, there's a bookmark in here already. Nice, I was waiting for that. The Sirens of Titan is an outrageous romp through space, time, and morality. The richest, most depraved man on Earth, Malachi Constance, is offered a chance to take a space journey to distant worlds with a beautiful woman at his side. Of course, there's a catch to the invitation and a prophetic vision about the purpose of human life that only Vonnegut has the courage to tell. I've never read Kurt Vonnegut. I've always wanted to. My neighbor let me borrow this, so I'm super excited to be able to get around to it. Now, I figured I would get a bit of manga in here. I don't know. I'm kind of going blind on this one. I asked ChatGPT for a book recommendation, and they're not very good at that, so I'm hoping this turns out good. I picked up the first from the library. I got the first 3 manga volumes of Blood on the Tracks. We've got volume 1 here. I've got volume 2 here. I've got volume 3. I believe there's a pretty good number of these. I like the art. Actually, I haven't flipped through it yet. Yeah, it was good. I like this. Apparently these are extraordinarily depressing and sad and just like family drama, trauma shit. The description I have here is quite not very flushed out. Saichi's mother loves him very much, and his days pass with placid regularity. School, friends, even the attention of his attractive classmate, Fukiishi. Until one terrible summer day, that all changes. I'm assuming it means tracks in a train tracks way, less in a Kings of the Wyld music tracks kind of way. Apparently it's horribly depressing. We'll see. We'll have to see where that goes. Alright, so the last thing that we have here is the Dreaming Tree duology by C.J. Cherryh, starting with the Dreamstone and concluding with the Tree of Swords and Jewels. It was the transitional time of the world, when man first brought the clang of iron and the reek of smoke to the lands which before had echoed only with fairy voices. In that dawn of man and death of magic, there yet remained one last untouched place. The small forest of Eldwood, which kept the magic intact and protected the old ways. And there was one who dwelt there, Arafel of Sidhe, who had more pride and love of the world as it used to be than any of her kind. But fear of the world of fairy ran deep in the hearts of men. And when Ciaran Quilian, I don't know what the hell that name is, Lord of Sayer Vile, fucking fantasy, a man with elvish blood in his veins, found himself the object of increasing distrust and suspicion from his men, his king, and even his own family. He knew he must once again put his humanity aside for the realm of Eldwood. For shadows of a newly awakened evil swarmed across both lands, and unless Ciaran reclaimed his haunted weapons from the Tree of Swords and joined Arafel, he would see the evil overtake not only the warm heartstones of the mortal keeps, but the silvery heart of Eldworld itself. Now, I'm hoping that this isn't a complete shit in the bed. I haven't been having a very good success rate with fairy tale style fantasy, modern fairy tale fantasy, as of late. Just watch my DNF video on that if you want to see a couple of those. I really trust CJ Cherryh. I really like CJ Cherryh. I've had a very good success rate with CJ Cherryh so far. Seeing as I'm already about 70% of the way through Kings of the Wyld, I imagine that I might be able to I'll probably be able to fit a little bit more in there. I'm definitely going to get at least this much done. So that's what I've got going on for the month of November. Let me know what you're reading down in the comments. Cheers.